for a shark attack on the World Series of Bowling. They come from opposite sides of the globe, but Australian Jason Belmonte and Finland's Osku Palermaa are two of a kind. The two most successful two-handed bowlers in the world. Today, for the first time in PBA history, both of these two-handers have made it to a tournament final. The PBA Shark Championship. Two two-handers, but only one can survive to face #1 seed, Dan MacLelland. Are two hands better than one? The World Series of Bowling continues now on ESPN. Over 250 professional bowlers from 14 different countries, bowling on 5 different oil patterns, have invaded Las Vegas to be part of an event unlike any other in sports. The PBA World Series of Bowling. It's the ultimate test. 6 PBA Tour titles, all decided in a 5-man stepladder format, with an uninterrupted championship match each week. It all leads up to the main event, January's PBA World Championship, the first major of the season. It's the PBA versus the rest of the world. And it all continues now.
We welcome you to Show 5 of the season opening World Series of Bowling. 4 titles and 4 different winners here thus far at South Point Hotel and Casino. And today we will have our 5th different winner of the season. Happy holidays to all of you out there. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson here with you. And we have one last PBA present unwrapped under the tree for you. An interesting collection of talents here today, but it's highlighted by the first time in PBA history we have 2 two-handed bowlers on the show.
Well, you know, Rob, forever the rest of the world has been trying to emulate the power of the Americans. Well, there's 2 people that you're going to see today that have actually figured it out. They said, well, you know what? If we use 2 hands and we take our thumb out of the ball, we've got more power. And that's Australia's Jason Belmonte and Osku Palermaa from Finland. And today, you're going to see all their power on display.
Those 2 kind of changing the face of international bowling. We'll talk more about that through the broadcast. For the second consecutive week, Canadian Dan MacLelland makes the show, this time, though, as the #1 seed. Our first match, though, has some familiar feel to it on many accounts. Mike Fagan, Jason Belmonte, fast friends, and road roomies. We bring in Kimberly Pressler now, who's standing by with both of them.
Well, Mike, Jason, I know that you guys are really good friends. You're even sharing a house here in Vegas with Bill O'Neill, another good friend and bowler. Mike, what was it like at the breakfast table this morning, knowing you guys were going to go head-to-head today?
Well, Kimberly, everything would have been fine, except Belmo burnt the eggs again. So, you know, that kind of ruined breakfast. But, no, seriously, we're just, you know, we're good friends till the end. And, you know, we're out here to compete, but when it's off the lanes, we're best of friends.
And Jason, I know that you won your first tour title against Mike, your friend. What's it like to play against and beat your friend?
Look, I think at the end of the day, you never really do want to play against your mates because you don't like to beat one of your mates. But Michael right now isn't my mate. And he has to bowl a really good game because I'm going to try and beat him. But you know what? At the end of this, no matter what the outcome is, I'm going to give him a hug and a kiss, and we're going to go for a drink afterwards, and we'll celebrate.
All right. Well, good luck to both of you. Rob, back to you.
All right, Kimberly, we take a look at the 4 previous winners here at the World Series of Bowling: McCune, O'Neill, Norton, and then last week, Young Jin Koo from South Korea with the dramatic win for the lefty. Time now for the introductions for match #1.
The #4 player owns a PBA Tour title and a PBA Rookie of the Year award representing Australia. Belmo, Jason Belmonte.
Belmo finished 3rd last week at the Scorpion Championship. Ran into the buzzsaw that was Young Jin Koo last week.
Or as you like to refer to him, Dr. Koo.
I can't get enough of Dr. Koo, I'll be honest. Strong start.
Sorry, mate.
The #5 qualifier owns a pair of PBA Tour titles from Patchogue, New York. The Argyle Assassin and King of Swing, Mike Fagan.
The Argyle Assassin. earning a twist of the neck by Mike Fagan, or as his buddy Jason likes to refer to him, Nick. Belmo has nicknames for all of his buddies, but no one else uses them besides Jason. So here is Fagan, his first effort today. Strong start from both of the buddies. Take a look at the arsenal today for Mike Fagan.
She's using a 715T on the left lane and a 505T on the right lane.
Fagan had a big run in match play, went 7-2 to climb 10 spots all the way up to number 5.
Yeah, and it really came down to position round where he needed 2 strikes in the 10th frame to stay ahead of Walter Ray Williams Jr. He got both strikes and edged out Walter Ray Williams Jr. by 4 pins.
Here's your 4 seed. One of 2 two-handed bowlers on today's show, Jason Belmonte from Orange, New South Wales, Australia. And Belmo, who finished second last season in the Scorpion Show, with back-to-back opening jacks.
You're going to see the deep inside part of the lane, and he's already laying that ball down on about the 32nd board. Now, when these big boomers run out of lane, they just take to the air. I'll explain more later.
Nice tease. Nothing but strikes thus far. Through the course of the World Series of Bowling rating, we've had a lot of I did not know that moments in regards to our PBA stars. When we return, we'll have one involving Mike Fagan.
Can't wait.
And welcome back to Las Vegas and our continuing coverage of the 2010 PBA World Series of Bowling. Time now for the Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood segment with Randy.
The shark oil pattern is the longest of the named animal patterns at 43 feet in length. And there's really only one way to play this oil pattern, and that's from the extreme deep inside part of the lane. And anytime you create that much angle, it's always a huge advantage to have power. That's why on today's telecast, we have an overabundance of power players. But pay close attention to this outside part of the lane where you see this deep dark blue color. Remember, the dark blue represents a heavy concentration of oil. If the players get their bowling ball in this area here down the lane, that ball has no chance of getting back to the pocket, and the players will be swimming with the sharks.
Thank you, Randall. Here's Michael Fagan, his effort in the third on that right lane. Perfect pocket presence there. And in the fourth, leaves a little loose change. Jason Belmonte, what a wonderful start for him here, Randy.
Yep, he's perfect after 3 4th frame here. Just shreds the rack, all the power and speed working to his advantage. 4 in a row now, working on a Robstone hand bone. Makes it 5.
A perfect start for Belmo here, and he leads Michael Fagan by 21.
Good look at that Sarge Easter grip, full fingertip in the middle finger. Conventional on the ring finger to cut down revolutions. There's that nice loose arm swing. See how the swing bumps out just a little bit to the right, tucks it back underneath that shoulder. Looking for the trip 4, but denied.
So back-to-back spares for the Long Island native who is picking up a new hobby. Tickling the ivory is Mike Fagan.
When it's time to worry about bowling, I do.
but when it's time to get away from bowling, you know, I like to have an outlet. This year is actually a new outlet, but I really took up playing the piano when I was a kid. I played, and I kind of stopped when I was like, when I really started focusing on bowling. I quit the piano, stopped getting lessons and everything when I was like 13. And, you know, just something kind of keeps me occupied, and it's a lot of fun for me. I just love learning new songs and things like that, so.
Did you ever play the piano?
I dabbled.
Dabbled?
Yeah.
I used to have the Peanuts piano music list, you know, with Snoopy and Woodstock.
I don't know what
That's
the
what I
song's
would play.
I don't know what the song's called, but one of the Peanut songs is one of my all-time favorites.
Back on the strike train is Mike Fagan. Needed that after back-to-back spares.
Jason beat Fagan 215-210 for his first and only title back in late March of 2009.
And an opening six-pack for Belmonte.
Well, take a look at how far left Jason Belmonte is playing the lanes. As the day moves forward, you're going to see players starting to loft because they are running out of lane. So in order to keep the ball on the lane, they're going to have to get it airborne to delay that hook and create even more angle for him. As you take a look at his arsenal using a not so aggressive tropical heat.
Double wood.
Just a little firm on that shot, Rod. You see all the classic power players drift to the left to get out of the way of their swing so they can feed the ball to the right. That one just had a little bit too much velocity.
Well, we've seen through the course of the World Series of bowling, that spare conversion not always picked up.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for all the power that Jason Belmonte has and that extremely high rev rate, he wouldn't have covered both pins. I got to tell you, though, I love watching Michael Fagan bowl. I just love that high backswing, that real loose wrist at the bottom of the swing, and how he rolls that wrist up underneath the bowling ball, creates all that power.
Like our #1 seed does as well.
Dan MacLelland, sure, big, high, straight, vertical backswing.
A double for Fagan and his 5th of this match.
Real long swing. Notice how low the bowling ball got to the floor. And then there's the bent elbow. That real soft grip pressure that allows that wrist to hinge and unhinge right at the release point. Just a pinch too much fight in the back part of the lane causes that ball to flip a little more than Michael Fagan wanted. And no trip 4.
Won his first title in a doubles event. And then last season won the one-a-day Dick Weber Open, beating Walter Ray Williams Jr. That one in late January of 2010. So Fagan takes the seat. And up comes Jason Belmonte, working off his first and only spare of the day. Take a look at the other finishers here at the GEICO Shark Championship. Walter Ray in 6th. Here's Belmo, another strike. Jason, what adjustment did you make after that spare?
The left flame for me is playing a little tighter. I think maybe for both of us. That's why Michael's using 2 bowling balls. So just got to make sure that I don't leak it right, stay aggressive with it, and the ball should do the rest.
On that right lane, how much room do you have on your approach, kind of working your way around the ball return?
Well, I'm a bit worried about when I reach the title match, let's put it that way. I'm standing fairway left now, so I'm pretty sure as the game's going, you're going to see a few guys start to get a little airtime with the ball over the gutter.
Like the confidence. Thanks for your time, Jason.
Thanks, Mike.
We saw Michael Fagan earlier this week do some hardcore lofting. YouTube saw it as well.
Remember, he said he didn't want to leak it too far to the right on this left lane, but he's so far to the inside, he still has to create angle right. A little too far to the right's no good, and a little too straight up the lane is no good. And that's what I was afraid of.
Yep,
He said,
heavy.
I don't want to leak it right. I'm thinking, okay, he's going to try to go too straight and too direct. And that's exactly what happened. Now, he avoids the huge split. He still has a max 258 possible. The best Michael Fagan can shoot 247.
Flawless with single spare conversions this week. Here's his first of match number 1.
Second spare of the match for Belmo.
Takes the seat, and his good buddy Michael Fagan steps up for his 9th frame effort. Fagan started off the match with an opening 3-bagger, dropped 2 9 spares, got back on the strike train with a double, and now working off a 9 spare here as we get ready for his foundation frame effort. Strike here would be mammoth for Fagan's cause.
That's wide.
Little wide right.
Well, and in my opinion, the only chance that Michael Fagan had to win would have been to strike out in the 9th and 10th frame and get into the 240s. That ball goes wide, leaving the 2-5, and now his chances are slim and none. He's going to now have to convert here, strike out, and hope for a Jason Belmonte open frame in the 10th.
So there's the conversion.
And now the heavy lifting. Two strikes and 2 spares on this left lane thus far.
Oh, nice shot.
Misses wide on the right lane, follows it up with a pull shot on the left. And Jason Belmonte just needs to stay behind the foul line and keep it on the lane, and he is going to move on.
Sixth and final strike of the afternoon for Fagan. He's in the books with a 223.
Just 3 pins. For Jason Belmonte.
And that's all she wrote. So Belmo's quest for a second Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title is still alive. And it was a storybook season last year around for Tom Smallwood. Can he repeat his success this time around? Smallwood goes for his first title of the season when we return. We flash back to December 13th, 2009 at the PBA World Championship in Wichita, Kansas. And Tom Smallwood celebrating his first PBA Tour title. This happened to be a major with a 244-228 victory over Wes Smollett. A moment that many of us won't soon forget. I still, in all honesty, really get some goosebumps when I think about that moment. And here's Smallwood back on the wood here. Match number 2 today of the GEICO Shark Championship as the 3 seed takes on Jason Belmonte. Really was a great moment, not just in bowling, but in sports overall that season, I felt.
It was a real heartfelt story, and it was really hard not to root for him. Again, taking a look at just how deep Jason Belmonte is playing. But remember, it's a fine line. If he gets it too far to the right, it's going to hang. If he gets it going too much up the lane, it goes to the nose just like that.
Going after the 3-6. Taking care of it. And here is Tom Smallwood.
The number 3 qualifier is the defending PBA World Champion from Saginaw, Michigan, Tom Smallwood.
Third year on the tour, just one career title. We showed it to you just moments ago. Made 3 telecasts last season, 2 singles and 1 mixed doubles. By far the slowest and lowest rev rate guy on today's show. Is that fair to say?
Definitely the slowest speed, rev rate. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. And Tom Smallwood has got a lot of revolutions. I mean, he's definitely well above the tour average.
So both competitors start with a spares. We take a look at Tom's arsenal this afternoon.
Well, he only brought 3 bowling balls out with him. Instead, he decided no wicked siege, no damage, so I'm going to go with the avalanche slide. And as you can see there, it's the least amount of hook on that hook rating.
Very violent sounding names to these bowling balls that Tom came up with. Nothing, you know, kind of feel-goody Barney-esque out there.
No, yeah. It's his company that came up with those names.
They're there to inflict damage, I understand.
Absolutely.
A unique grip here by Smallwood. Staring briefly at a 7-10.
Tom Smallwood, a little unusual grip in that he only puts his thumb in about halfway and just kind of rolls that bowling ball up on his forearm. But notice the great position and balance of the foul line.
You'd think as that ball rolls up the forearm, you'd lose kind of some control and stability with it, but the way he has it, it's kind of locked in.
Yeah, he's obviously done it for a while. He's got great feel doing that, but he just kind of rolls it back up onto that forearm and then just uncups it at the point of release. Belmonte does a lot of the same, except he doesn't use a thumb and uses his left hand to support the bowling ball as well.
Still no strikes here in the early stages of match 2. Two spares for both Belmonte and Smallwood. Belmo last season, 3 shows, 0 victories, twice a runner-up.
And Rob, I think we're going to see some airtime very shortly.
Airtime, hang time, loft time equals fun time on the bowling lanes.
And there we go. The strike train is in business.
And it's only going to get better.
There is Tom Smallwood hunting for a win here and a berth in today's semifinals. When we check back in, we'll learn about Tom's passion for outdoor activities. Coverage of the Shark Championship from South Point Bowling Center rolls on while we're away in match 2. Jason Belmonte in frame number 4 on the right lane, a little loft. Great result. And the 5th doesn't quite get a strike, Randy.
It should have been.
Left the 7. Tom Smallwood having some issues.
Yeah, he's having some problems getting lined up here in the third frame. He goes high, leaves himself an easy spare, however. Fourth frame, tries to make an adjustment, misses it at the bottom, goes light, leaves a washout. Open frame, comes back in the fifth. Pretty good shot here. In fact, it's perfect. Sixth frame now looking to double up. Comes in light once again, leaving an 8-pin. And right now, Tom Smallwood, after 5.5 frames, finds himself trailing by 24.
Talked to Jason the other day about his goals, and he says, I want to come off the lanes and be regarded not just as the two-handed bowler, but as a force out on tour. Wants to be compared to everybody else besides his talent to throw it two-handed. Whoa, loft. Messenger does its job.
I don't know.
How about that thud?
I'll try and do it again.
Now remember, the first time we saw him loft it was just a little bit of loft. Oh well, this one, he's going to get a lot more airtime under this one. Check this out. Yeah. Really?
Did a pin fly over the 8-pin?
I don't know. I just saw everything go right by the 8-pin, but he left a pocket 7-pin in the fifth around right on a double. He strikes in the sixth, and then he comes back with this. Check this out. Wow. Looked like the 5-pin that got hit right before the 8-pin and went left of it.
Flawless on single pin spares. The lead at 24 through 6.5. Tom Smallwood asked him about his goals this season. Randy said, I want to make a couple shows. I'd like another win. And then kind of smiled and said, it's pretty fun to hold that trophy on Sunday. It's addictive winning out here, isn't it? Much needed strike, just his second of this match. Tom Smallwood, lethal out here on the bowling lanes. Also does some damage with his outdoor activities.
There's no doubt my one passion, obviously besides my family and my daughter, is hunting. I bow hunt whitetail. That's definitely my passion. That's much rather be in a tree stand than anywhere else in the world. So in the woods, it's so peaceful. Just having the animals that close to you and not knowing you're there, and it's amazing. My dad brought me up doing it, and there's one thing I'll do the day I die, and there ain't nothing I'd rather do.
I've never shot a bow and arrow, and I think it'll continue that way.
I did once, but it had like a rubber piece on the end.
Did you get that for Christmas?
A long time ago. See, like just like that, Rob, all of a sudden now, it's a 24-pin game. Now it's just 14. And Tom Smallwood just kind of hung around. Jason Belmonte's built a really strong game and has suffered through bad pin carry the last two times on the left lane. Tom Smallwood can still shoot 224. Jason Belmonte is just a 208.
Belmo on that right lane, which has been very tricky for him. Look at him curve around the ball, turn the sheet, and then drop all 10.
When he goes to that big loft game, he makes it look stupid easy. And we've seen Robert Smith do that with his thumb in it. But, I mean, he looks like this is... like he's throwing a 6-pound ball down the lane.
Terrible.
258.
Leaves the 2-5-8 at an inopportune time.
That one didn't look like it had near as much airtime, like he missed it at the bottom. And he's left himself with a real tough 2-5-8 spare conversion.
covers that one well. So he sits down to lead at 14, but here comes Tom Smallwood, who's found his rhythm. 3 strikes in his last 4 frames, Randy, including the last 2, trying to string together the first 3-bagger here of match number 2 for either competitor.
Hey, don't look now, but 3 strikes here, 1 in the 9th, 2 in the 10th. Tom Smallwood wins this match.
And there's a look at your 3 seed here at the GEICO Shark Championship. The native of Saginaw, Michigan, Tom Smallwood.
Nope. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Never gave it enough room to the right. He knew it immediately, hoping for anything other than a big split. Conversion here, he can strike out for 202. Jason Belmonte is going at a 208 pace. That would be if he were to strike spare in the 10th.
Smallwood spares the 9. And now, a final frame of match number 2. Number 2 seed, Osku Palermaa, 2-handed Finnish bowler waiting in the wings. We'll see who survives match number 2. It has been a struggle, really, for both of these 2 competitors.
Much better.
That was a great shot there. And he knows that a couple more strikes here, anything can happen. He would force Belmonte to get good count in the mark.
4 strikes in this game for Smallwood. Only 2 of them have been paired together. Belmo also with 4 strikes, and again, only 1 pair.
But no open frame for Belmonte.
This one is wide open for Belmo.
Yeah, and Tom Smallwood's kind of caught in between, Rob. A little too far to the right, it hangs, a little too far in, and it has no chance of laying off. A lot of that has to do with the ball speed being a little soft.
And did I hear Smallwood say you're welcome as he walked back to Belmo?
So we'll see if Mr. Smallwood's day is done.
A 192. And here's your 4 seed, Jason Belmonte. Needs 8 to win.
Gets 10, and Belmo moves on to the semifinals.
Welcome back to the World Series of Bowling at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas.
The crown jewel of this year's World Series of Bowling is the season's first major, the 2011 PBA World Championship. The 8 finalists were determined by their performance in the 5 rounds of qualifying for the World Series animal pattern events, the last of which is today's Shark Championship. Only total pinfall in those 60 qualifying games across the 5 different patterns was used to determine the finalists. The 8 finalists make up a stepladder that for the first time in PBA history will span 3 days of live television coverage on ESPN and ESPN2. On Friday, January 14th on ESPN2, number 8 qualifier Jason Belmonte will take on 7 seed and former Player of the Year, Wes Malott. The winner of that match will advance to face Michael Hagen Jr. for the right to come back on Saturday, where Mika Koiginemi will be waiting as the number 5 qualifier. Saturday's ESPN2 coverage will wrap up with the number 4 seed, former Player of the Year, Chris Barnes. And then on Sunday, January 16th, the World Championship will switch over to ESPN for the final 3 steps of the stepladder. Saturday's winner will take on number 3 qualifier Osku Palermaa with number 2 seed Sean Rash and top qualifier Bill O'Neill waiting in the wings. O'Neill will be going for his 4th career title and 2nd major championship. 3 days of live PBA World Championship coverage kick off Friday, January 14th at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Coming up next here at the PBA Shark Championship, the historic first televised meeting of the world's most successful two-handed bowlers, Osku Palermaa and Jason Belmonte.
We welcome you back to Las Vegas and our continuing coverage of the GEICO Shark Championship, the final event of the PBA World Series of Bowling. And now, for the first time ever, two-handed bowlers meet up in PBA action. And Kimberly standing by with one of them, Osku Palermaa.
That's right, Osku. You guys are going up against each other. The first time in our telecast history that two-handing bowlers are going against each other. Now, do you think that the kids at home will want to take up two-handed bowling after watching you guys?
I think so. I've seen it's happened all around the world already. So, and now we were on TV at the same time. So, of course, two hands is better than one.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
The number 2 player finished 5th in the 2004 U.S. Open at the age of 20, representing Finland, the Big O, Osku Palermaa.
So Osku will bat lead off here in match number 3, the semifinals of the Shark Championship, brought to you by GEICO.
Whoa! A violent strike.
Hey, Rob, am I seeing things?
You are not, my friend. You may be seeing the future of bowling is what you may be seeing.
Got 2 players here, one from Australia, one from Finland. They're using 2 hands and no thumb.
2 guys from 2 diverse parts of the globe, both bowling two-handed. Oh, yeah. That's how we start, people. Thank you, gentlemen.
They're not only not using their thumb, they're not using the entire lane. They're only using like 3/4 of the lane now because the ball's in the air for about the first 15 feet.
Belmo slides now, though, Randy, over to the left lane where Jason has had some issues throughout the course of the day.
And Osku is the higher seed, so he gets choice of which lane he wants to start and finish on. He chose to start on the left lane, which means Osku will finish on the right. Jason has to finish the 10th frame on the left.
Jason.
There's the 2 hands. There's the loft. You can see just barely clearing the left gutter. And a referee approaching, what do you think, about 650 RPMs?
I mean, how about that great camera work to keep up with that ball? Now, that is a quick whip of the camera to stay in line.
Rob, we only work with the best in the business. You know that.
Understood.
So now it appears that the left lane is going to be an issue, something to watch throughout this match and the championship match.
Although Osku struck on the left in the first, and here he comes over to the right side. His effort in the second. And leaves the 2-4. Two-handed bowling, not the only thing these 2 guys have in common.
I mean, our lives are very similar in terms of how we started, our age.
But his father just owned the bonus and mine just working.
Right, yeah. I mean, we even got engaged to our girlfriends at a very close time in our lives as well. But, you know, I've got a kid now, so hurry up.
And you're married.
And have a kid,
Yeah, but my
right?
brother's married. That's enough, right?
Okay.
He's got a kid.
But, yeah, I mean, he started when he was like 18 months. I started when I was 18 months. You know, he started traveling the world when he was 16. I started traveling the world when we were 16. And it's very weird how, you know, 2 completely different people living in 2 completely different opposite sides of the world had a very similar story in how we both got into bowling.
Points there, Randy. They almost sounded like a married couple going back and forth with their conversation.
Take a look at Osku Palermaa's arsenal. He's going with a high road. And judging by the last ball reaction on the right lane, he needs to make a speed adjustment, Rob, and try to give that bowling ball time to react down the lane.
Leaves the 10-pin.
Not only is there a lot of revolutions leaving these 2 players' hands, but there's a lot of velocity behind it as well. take a look. It's a very similar setup. There's the two hands. And, well, I'll tell you what, that looks a lot like Jason Belmonte's delivery, doesn't it?
Very similar styles from the two-handed bowlers. It will be an interesting conclusion to our Osku Belmo semifinal. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler welcoming you back to our continuing coverage of the GEICO Shark Championship while we were away. Back-to-back rut rows from both competitors. Osku in the 5th, in open frame 8, and then this effort from Belmo, Randy.
And both Greek churches on the left lane. Here's Belmonte's attempt. It's all about getting pin count, but he almost made it.
So Belmonte sits with a 7-pin lead as Osku steps up to close out the 6th frame. 2 strikes for Osku, just 3 for Belmonte. Finland versus Australia. Both of them will be representing the world team. The upcoming USA versus the world broadcast.
Strike for Palermaa.
Needed strike for Osku after that open frame in the 5th. And now he goes back to that left lane.
This is going to be faster with probably a little more loft to hold the line. Only struck 1 time on that left lane. And that was back in the 1st frame when he started the match.
And this is target.
So not as much loft, but a lot more speed, and it just blew right through the end of the pattern and never turned over. And even though there's all those revolutions, there comes a point where the ball actually hydroplanes on the lane and never picks up. And that's exactly what happened there.
Open frame again for Osku on the left lane.
And that's why I think it's always dangerous to try to hook a ball at a spare on the tour with the oil patterns being as tough as they are. I mean, maybe with the exception of Cheetah, where you know there's free friction to the right. And his ball there didn't hook again. He's chopped a spare, and now he trails by 19. Jason Belmonte looking to strike once again on the right lane.
Gets the 7 to drop late. His 3rd strike on that right lane, 4th overall. And Belmo will be in action on our next telecast. It's the top 6 American players, the top 6 international players from qualifying here at the World Series of Bowling, squaring off in a special 1-game team competition. You can see it Sunday, January 9th at 1 Eastern. Belmo and Palermaa, adversaries in this match, but they will be teammates in early January.
That makes it 3 telecasts in a row for Jason Belmonte. If my math is correct, Rob.
It is, my friends. It is. So here we go to the problematic left lane. Still an issue.
Tricky left lane. See how it never picked up in the back part of the lane? It just kind of hydroplaned the whole way. Now, right now, these 2 players are trying to process this information and figure out what to do to strike on that left lane. And Jason Belmonte actually did a pretty good job there, just covering the bucket and coming away clean. Remember, he has to finish the match on that lane.
And the way this match is going, it will go to the 10th frame. So Osku, 2 of his last 3 frames have been open frames, but he's on the more friendly right lane right now.
Yeah, the right lane's not an issue, Rob. It's this lane coming up right here, and this is going to either win the match for Osku or cost him the match. This next shot right here in the 9th frame, because he can still strike out for 203. Jason Belmonte right now is going at a 192 pace.
It may be a pretty tall order if Jason Belmonte has to double in the 10th frame on the left lane.
So Osku on this left lane here in match number 3. Strike, spare, open frame 8, open frame 9. Let's see what he does here in the 9th. Big strike.
That's huge.
Pressure moves to the Belmonte camp.
And that was the high hard one. That ball got down the lane in a hurry with some bad intentions. Watch this thing. Right over the 6th. Excuse me, the last arrow on the left side of the lane. The 7th arrow. Lofting the 7th arrow.
Wide of target, and this is supposed to be the easy lane for Belmo.
What the hell was that?
And well, this is a misfire, and on the good lane where Jason Belmonte needed it, you could see how he's been lofting everything over the 7th arrow. That went over the 6th arrow, and that had no chance of hitting the head pin.
So covers that one, and now he slides to the issue-oriented left lane. Belmo on the left lane, 9 spare, strike, open frame 9, 6 spare. Can max out at 199, but he needs all 3 here on the left to apply some pressure to Osku.
Right now, Jason's trying to figure out, what adjustment do I make? How do I get this ball to hit the pocket?
Let's see what he's made of.
And I'm sure if you would have asked him when he stepped up in the 10th frame, he would have probably taken any kind of good count and a mark, which would have made Osku strike on the first ball in the 10th. Instead, he leaves a 4-6 split, and he's going to come away with an open frame. Osku Palermaa needs a mark.
176 in the books for Belmo. All you have to do is look at his reaction to know how this match went for Jason. Just 4 strikes.
Got to cover it. Osku Palermaa, at least for today, with a mark here, will claim his spot as the best two-hander. But just for today.
And he goes single hand here. Nails the 10-pin. Now needs 5 for the win and the move to the title match. Crazier things have happened. And Osku moves on to the title match. 182-176 for the finished product. He will take on Dan MacLelland, the Canadian. The title match in its entirety when we return to Vegas. And welcome back to our commercial-free presentation of the title match of the GEICO Shark Championship. Osku Palermaa getting set to bowl for the title of the GEICO Shark Championship right now versus Dan MacLelland. Time now for our GEICO Championship recap. Randall.
Thank you, Rob. It's match number 1 featured Jason Belmonte and Michael Fagan. The two best friends, they battled all the way to the 10th. Jason Belmonte coming out on top 248 to 223. Then in match number 2, Belmonte goes to the air. He takes out Tom Smallwood 208 to 192. Then it's a battle of the two-handers. Not one, but 2 Greek churches. Jason Belmonte, well, you know what he wants to do to himself. Osku Palermaa, he wins the battle of attrition, 182-176.
The tournament leader is a three-time collegiate All-American from Saginaw Valley State representing Canada, Dan the Man. Dan MacLelland.
D-Mac, a native of Windsor, Ontario, Canada, will start this one off. He will conclude on the right lane, but here he is on the left.
See, things haven't changed for this.
He's been watching the telecast with us, Randy. He knows that this left lane is issue-oriented.
Yeah, and that's why he chose to start the match on this lane and finish on the right lane and make Osku finish on the left lane.
Open frame 8. You know me, I'm the positive guy. If you're going to have an open frame, get it out of the way in the first frame.
Better to do it now than on a string of strikes.
There's a look at your 2-seat. Osku Palermaa. Just 2 strikes on the left lane. In his previous match, here he is on the right. A late kick gives him the opportunity for just a single pin spare conversion.
Boy, and you can really see how the oil pattern's just been blown apart by players with extreme high rev rates. Remember when they first started in our first match, they were closer to the 4th or 5th arrow. In just a couple of games, the players are as far left as they can get, lofting it over the gutter cap.
And now Osku moves over to the left. We saw what it did to D-Mac in his first frame, in open frame 8. But Osku has had more time now to survey this left lane.
And right about now, 9 spares okay on that lane.
Yeah, you just saw him with the hands coming out. That's all right.
It's like, all right.
Just want to avoid splits, avoid ugly leaves.
Those circles that they put in that frame there, and then they put a dash through it, that's not good. Just get the little diagonal line and move along.
Keep it moving, people. Keep it moving. MacLelland, the 5th consecutive player in this World Series of Bowling to earn the top speed in a stepladder format for the first time ever.
So he has to modify his 5-step approach where he stands in front of the bar, he turns a couple of tiny steps. We've seen players do that throughout the years, and it takes a pretty talented player to be able to pull that off. Dan MacLelland is a talented player.
Family in town to cheer on Dan. His mom in the yellow.
Dan's arsenal outburst fairly high in terms of hook rating.
That is what you wanted to avoid.
Now it's going to be back-to-back open frames on this left lane. It's a pretty good shot out of his hand, but the ball just never lays off right through the face, and he pays for
it. Open frame, spare, open frame for D-Mac. So Osku How about that for a quick 25-pin advantage?
That'll loosen your swing up in a hurry.
And that's without having a strike yet. And finally, our first strike at the title match. All right, here is the more of what matters to you fan question, brought to you by the makers of One a Day. To me this week, really?
This is for you, Rob, and it comes from Greg Williams of Levittown, Pennsylvania, the hometown of Bill O'Neill. And what do you like for the 2010-2011 PBA Chris Schenkel Player of the Year Award?
Well, who do you think Greg wants me to say, being he's from Levittown, PA, the hometown of Bill O'Neill?
Jason Belmonte?
No, I'm saying Bill O'Neill. That's my answer. Bill O'Neill on top of the PBA World Championship final standings heading into that major. He's my vote.
Oh, Brooklyn!
Yeah, it's going to start getting ugly on that lane, and right now there's no time to be proud. Take what you can get, avoid open frames on the left lane, and just try to stay clean, because it doesn't look like it's very easy right now to throw a double. Pure physics for Dan MacLelland on the right lane, so two different balls. Something a little stronger on this right lane. Let's see about getting a strike here.
Negative. He was 10th going into match play, Randy. Then he ripped off an 8-1 record and sprang all the way up to the #1 seed. Could use some of that mojo right now.
He's turned a 5-step approach into a 3-step approach by virtue of standing in front of the ball return.
How difficult is it to change that step approach on the fly?
You better practice it a bunch. It's not something you can just snap your fingers to and expect to do it overnight. It takes a lot of work and a lot of practice.
How much of the power or the finesse does it take away when you're shortening up those steps?
For me, when I did it, it was hard to create velocity. You know, if I could stay soft enough, I was okay. But when I had to do that and throw it fast, that was hard because I just started arming everything.
Open frame, spare. Open frame, spare. No strikes, and he is on that nasty left lane right now.
All right, he switched balls in this left lane. Let's see what happens. Looking for his first mark.
There we go. Hoping for the DMAC campus. Not too little too late there on that change. Better to change in the 5th than the 7th or the 8th.
Hey, you know, he got a little experience last week, and he said, you know, he told us, Rob, he says, hey, man, this time I'm just going to go out and try to have some fun. If it's not there, it's not there. But if I need to make adjustments, I'm going to make them on the fly with conviction and try to have a little fun out there. I'll tell you what, he'd have more fun if he could start stringing some strikes together and get back in this match. Look out. Too fast and too wide. Now this shot is just going to kind of get a little wide and kind of stay out there. See that? He's been around the 7th arrow most of the time. That was really fast and really hard.
And he does not convert, leaves the 10 open frame. Lead now at 19 pins. But Osku working off his first open frame of this title match. His competitor, that you see over his left shoulder, already has 2 open frames. And now Osku slides on over to that left lane. He has gone spare strike on it in the title match. That 8 is shaken.
That's not very friendly. How do you leave a solid 8 when the ball's in the air, hooked about a total of 4 boards to the left, and you leave a solid 8 pin? I just don't get it. It's fading most of the way and then stands up for about a 3-board hook. I mean, solid 8.
Again, a spare, certainly not the worst thing on that left lane.
No, you're right, Rob, but when you throw it right there, you should strike 99.9% of the time. The only thing that could stand up would be a solid 8 pin, which is exactly what happened.
Come on, baby. You gotta be kidding me.
4-6-7 split.
Wow.
Well, the good news for DMAC is he's in the Tournament of Champions with the regional title.
Bad news?
You've seen it over the course of the last couple minutes.
You know, the thing about, if you look at his game, he's paid the price on every marginal shot. You know, he got it wide, he left a washout. Every ball that's gone through the nose, he's split on.
Hey, Brad.
3 open frames now.
The perfect fit for the PBA fan who wants more. Randy, do you know what it is? It's the Tour's online video subscription service. Extra Frame.
Subscriber.
I know you are. Anything that they give for you free, you'll take. You can find it over on PBA.com. Head on over there and click on the Extra Frame link to get started. You get PBA Regional, Senior, and Lumber Liquidator Tour events coverage, great features, product reviews, great crew working really, really hard on Extra Frame. It is certainly worth your time if you are a bowling fan or want to become one. Right in the face.
Like I was saying, every marginal shot has resulted in either a split or a washout, and they've all been open frames.
The casual bowler, Randy, tuning in right now, watching this, seeing these low scores, seeing the best in the world struggling. How do you put it in context for them? Sense just how difficult these lanes are playing right now.
Well, if somebody's tuning in for the first time, they're probably wondering why the players are playing so far to the inside, or why are they playing so deep? And the answer is simple. Anything right of, say, the second arrow on the right side of the lane will either fall into the gutter, or the players will pick off 3 pins because there is so much oil to the outside part of the lane you can't play there. Remember, we talked about friction and the players using friction to their advantage. Well, right now there is too much friction and it's in the wrong spot.
Oh, how about that? The messenger delivers a double.
And again, if it's Dan MacLelland, he big fours in that hit. Osku gets a pin off the rail and caves the 6-10 in first strike, and that's how this match has gone.
It's probably the first good break we have seen in about 2 matches,
right.
Maybe 3.
And remember the last shot he threw on the left lane, he went solid 8 on a perfect shot. So this bowling's a crazy game.
Fickle sport, my friend.
It is. I don't understand it. I mean, look at that leave. That could have been a bucket. That could have been the 2-4, 5-7. Instead, it's just the 5-pin. It's crazy. And right now, it's just survival of the fittest, and whoever's going to win this is going to win ugly.
That we can guarantee. We can guarantee another thing. We'll have our second international champion of this World Series of bowling. Now, should Osku win today, he would become eligible, Randy, of course, for the Tournament of Champions coming up in Vegas. But he has his eye on another major as well, the PBA World Championship. After qualifying through 60 games, there's your top 8. Top 8 advance to the TV Finals. And there's Osku sitting in at number 3.
Oh, that would be the nuts. That's what we are here for. We bowl 60 games. Only top 16 makes it every tournament. So that was the show you wanted to make. And of course, it's major. You wanted to make it, and then now you're in. Only a few games away, so just wait for it.
Danny Mac, bottom of the 8th, down 31.
Oh, good time for that to happen. He needs to start stringing some strikes to get back into this match.
Just his second strike here in the title match. He's down 31 pins as we enter the 9th.
All right, so he can still strike out for 192. Osku Palermaa is going at a 193 pace. Anything can happen, and we've seen stranger things happen, especially when the lanes get this hard.
But here is the left lane. Let's see what it does to DMAC.
Really? Am I the only one getting it off the point on that lane?
I mean, that is just a nasty lane. I can't remember the last time we saw a lane cause this much damage in the tour. I mean, we've come across it before, certainly. But this thing is just obliterating people.
Well, and again, every time he's gone through the nose, he's split.
We take a look at the 4 previous winners here at the World Series of Bowling. Week number 1, we saw Eugene McCune with a title-winning strike in the 10th at the Brunswick Pro Bowling Cheetah Championship. Week 2 witnessed Bill O'Neill crushing the competition for his 3rd career title at the Pepsi Viper Championship. Then, at the PBA Chameleon Championship, rookie Scott Norton almost dropped the perfect game on Sean Rash in the title match, but was still able to earn his first PBA Tour title. Then last week, the mysterious Young Jin Koo, rolling from the 4-seed spot, won the all-South Korean final for his first ever PBA crown. Osku set to join that list on top by 43 here in the 9th. Just looking to get some count, load it on up.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, this match is over. So Osku is just trying to fill frames by throwing the ball straight down the middle.
And picks up the spare. Hey, you know, frankly, maybe that's something they should have done from the outset.
Well, I think in hindsight, if they knew the scores were going to be this low, that may have been the strategy. But the best Dan MacLelland can shoot right now is 160. This is the winner for Osku Palermaa. He will go to the Tournament of Champions.
Not pretty, but effective.
Exactly.
The war of attrition goes to Palermaa. We'll be back to wrap up this bizarre final when we return to Vegas. It is not often you throw only 3 strikes and have 173 pins down, yet you win not only a match, but your first ever PBA Lumber Liquidators title. But that has happened. Osku Palermaa gets the title. He's standing by lane side with Kimberly.
Osku, that was a pretty tough match out there, but what happened to those lanes?
Well, it's high rev rate, guys, on the whole show. 5 games, a lot of practice. That's what happens in the Shark. So, but I got on top of it, so I'm happy.
Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Kimberly.
So Osku becomes the 2nd international champion of this World Series of Bowling, and the 2nd in as many weeks. Our next telecast Sunday, January 9th. USA versus the world from right here in Las Vegas. An intriguing format with some great talents. Looking forward to that one. For Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.